Hello everyone. In this video we are gonna discover how to use this PID trend object. So in the beginning we're gonna just see how it works. So if I open up the faceplate, as we can see it uses the native object or the native trend object of FTViewSE, as well as embedded objects to make it all work. And behind the scenes we have VBA for the coding. So as we see here, we can change the color of the background. We can change the color of the pens if you want. So if I pick the PV and I want it, for example, black or green or whatever, so you can do that from here, as well as you can shrink and expand and go up and down. The most important feature is basically this drop-down menu where you can go back in history to look at your data. So I'm going to go back in here for the black, and so for example I can go back 1 hour and look at my data. So here's my data 1 hour ago. And they have different time frames. You can also pick custom trend, which will allow you to enter a date, a start date and end date to look at your data. So for here, for example, if we have these dates here, if I click on update my trend, and here's my data for that particular time frame. So it's really easy to use, and you can use it with a PID controller. So you have your PV, your set point, your outputs. So from an end user standpoint, it's really very intuitive and easy to use. So now that we have a brief idea on how it works and how the end user can use it, let's see behind the scene how it works and how you can integrate it inside your FTViewSE application. So let's close that for a moment. The first thing we're going to look at is just the PLC side. So in here I have two UDTs that I created. So this is the analog, which will be your process value, such a level or pressure and so forth. So we have min and max, tags and so forth. And then we also have this PID trend UDT, where we have our PV, set point, output, min and max for process value, and the description and the label of your PID. So once you have these two structures, then next I just have here basically just a signal generator. So I just have a seconds God generator to this analog PV, and I'm just sending it to the PID.PV. So nothing really special. But if you look at the tags, I just created my analog. I have analog 1 here, and then this PID 1. So in here, we want to make sure that our min and max are set properly, like we have here. So 0 to 59, and then you have a description and a PID tag. And then for your analog, you want also to make sure that your unit is set and your description is set. So once you have that, then that's all you need in the PLC side. Now if we go to the HMI side, we have this faceplate, which I call PID trend. That's the faceplate we are using. So you can import it into your application by just right click and say add components. So you can add your GFX, and then also in the trend templates in here there is this template that you want to import as well. So right click and add the component. And I'm going to explain in a little bit the use of this, so why we have this template. We also have this data log that I created, and that's where I log the set point, the process value, and output of the PID controller. So we have all those tags in here that we're logging. And then finally, in the tags, or the HMI tags, we want to make sure that we have created, I'm going to show you here in a moment, this folder here. It's called My HMI Tags Group, and inside the folder we want to create two string tags like here. So, and that's where we have the start and the end dates get hold when you enter them in the faceplate. So that's the HMI side, and that's pretty much it to have everything in place so you can use your PID trend. Now if I go to the main screen, and let's say we want to add another trend, so simply I'm just going to copy and paste this, and then I'm just going to replace PID 1 with PID 2. Replace all, so that's good. And I'm going to change this to say PID 2. So we have that in there. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to add the points to log for PID 2 in the data log. So I'm just going to cheat a little bit here. So I'm going to say remove. And then simply I'm going to change this with 2, and I should be good to go from this side. So I click OK. Okay, so here's the second one has been added. Now, next step, I just want to stop and start my data log so it will take the new tags. So I'm going to stop it here and then start, and that's good. Now let me go back here to this button here for a second. So what I'm doing here, basically I'm calling the PID trend and I'm passing these tags to it. So this will be parameter 1, and then the analog as parameter 2, and then the name of the data log as parameter 3. So that's what how we pass the tags to the same faceplate. So you just need one faceplate, and then you can use it many times as you like. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to save. So the HMI side is good to go. Next, I'm just going to make sure I have another tag in here that is PID 2 and PID trend. Okay, so I just create that, and then I'm just going to make sure that my min and max are set. It's 59. My description, I'll call it PID 2 description, and then I'm gonna put a label in here. So this could be PIC 1000 or LIC or that type of things. I'm just gonna say PID tag, for example. Okay, so that's good. And then in the program, I am just going to use the same signal. So I'm just going to copy and paste this and simply change this to 2. I want to change it to 2, not 12. Here we go. And that way we have some kind of signal coming to our second PID. So now we're just going to refresh here the screen. Here is our PID trend, or PID 2. I'm going to open it, and as we can see here, here's our trend, here's our PV, our set point, and out they're all about zeros. So I'm just gonna cheat a little bit here and just give them a couple of values just so we can see. So I'm just gonna make the out, for example, 66%, and the set point is 34, because I don't have really PID controller in there. I'm just using tags for now. There we go. We can see our output got raised to 66 and our set point raised to 34. As you can see here, we can see our units, our description, description for our analog, as you can see in there, and so forth. Now, I mentioned earlier about that trend template, which is this one here, So the reason we have that is, let's say, for example, you have multiple trends, right? And the user, each user would like to see the trend, for example, background and colors of the pens, a certain way. So the user, for example, I'm just going to pull the trend 1 for a moment. So right now, if I change the background, so I can change this to gray, for instance, and I'm going to change the out, to, let's say, black, change the PV to perhaps white. So you can see here this trend has different settings for the colors than this trend. But if I close this one, that I just changed and don't change this one, then all the trend will take the last settings of the trend that was closed. So that will be your, the colors of the background and of the pens that all the other trends is going to use. So now if I open this one, you're going to see it change to black, and other pens also change. There we go, as the same as this last one. So that way all the trends are consistent and they are the same color everywhere, and all it takes just change one trend in the entire system on all the other trends and then close it, and then all the other trends will take the same setting of that last trend that you just closed. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for